And now, the best and only wrestling podcast produced out of Council Bluffs, Iowa. This is Get Slammed with Jake Williams, the Lumber Jake, and Sean Crawford, Crawdaddy.
Hello and welcome to the best wrestling podcast in the Metro. I said it. It's the first episode, but I'm confident enough to say that.
Yeah, really?
I, of course, am Jake Williams, the Lumber Jake. This is Sean Crawford, a.k.a. Crawdaddy, with me, as always, my co-host. And more we do with these, we'll have a revolving third door.
Yeah.
And then occasionally we'll probably even try to get non-wrestling fans in there and try to see how they can explain what a match is, let alone what the hell is going on the screen.
See, I can't wait for that because, you know, it's really funny trying to see somebody explain wrestling when they have no idea what it is, especially when, you know, the basic stereotypes, oh, wrestling's fake, so even though I personally don't think it is, but I mean, that's beside the point.
It's not fake, it's just predetermined.
Yep.
That's the common misconception of it. I mean, it's athletic, but Sean, exactly how is this going to go down? We're going to give them...
Well, this has been a really exciting week in the world of wrestling between what's happened, you know, in WWE. It's built up to Fastlane. I don't think they did a good job of that on Raw, but, you know, Fastlane is coming up.
Yeah, I didn't...
It'd be Sunday or...
Here's my beef. Yeah. Before we get into any of Fastlane predictions or anything like that, I want to just get out in front and say back when when Fastlane was called Elimination Chamber, and then they moved that over and put Fastlane in there. First of all, Fastlane's a terrible name in my opinion.
Really is.
It's the road to WrestleMania. This is the Fastlane. Like, I think it's stupid. First of all, the name sucks. Secondly, I don't like the idea. I mean, I understand what they're trying to do to maybe get some other storylines in there or build on top of the storylines they're trying to build to go in WrestleMania, but I just don't like the placement. I just don't like... call me crazy, but I don't like pay-per-views before WrestleMania. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's a terrible idea. When I started watching wrestling back in, you know, the late 90s, the best era for wrestling, by the way.
We're not going to get into that. We're going to get the Attitude Era was the best.
I still like wrestling.
I would argue that the current reality, like, PG era, I would argue is better, but we'll have a whole other episode for that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, back when I started watching it, it was always Royal Rumble, then No Way Out, then WrestleMania, and I thought No Way Out was always a good name. They usually had a Hell in a Cell.
I'm just sorry. It's not just the name. I don't know. I just don't like having pay-per-views before the big one. I know it sounds stupid. It's like saying I don't want an NFC championship before Super Bowl, but that's just how I feel.
No, I gotcha. But yeah, getting into Fastlane, I guess we'll start things off with that. Actually, a pretty stacked card for a show that they had barely any build to, it feels like. But then, the first match on the card, you got Rich Swann and, I'm going to butcher this name.
Akira
Tozawa. Yeah, sorry.
Some Japanese name.
I'm still getting used to a lot of these cruiserweights. Versus the Brian Kendrick and Noam Dar. And what do you think's going to go down in this match?
I have no idea.
Neither do I. I haven't researched this match at all.
I don't watch 205 Live. I don't watch any of that. I mean... I think it's cool that they brought back the Cruiserweight Championship. They brought back the whole Cruiserweight division. I like that. Adds diversity to it. But to be honest with you, I have not watched one Cruiserweight match since they brought it back.
Well, I've watched a couple, and the only ones that are really entertaining to me are Rich Swann. The Brian Kendrick does a little bit, I think. So does Noam Dar. But then you also got...
Neville's been doing great.
Yeah, ever since he went, that was the best move that they made. That's, you know, especially to try to get more people to watch.
They made him a heel. They made him interesting.
Yeah, and then also Jack Gallagher. You cannot not like him.
Oh, I do like Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
Yeah, he's amazing. But you know, for this match,
I'm gonna
go with the heels.
Yeah,
the Brian Kendrick and Noam Dar.
Yeah, and then that whole like Alicia Fox storyline. I don't know what's going on with that. So.
Oh, it's entertaining, but yeah, I think they need to do more to build the cruiserweights because outside the Cruiserweight Championship, there's not really any interest, at least for me.
And I think the problem with that is just because their placement of 205 Live, I don't...
Oh, it's terrible. They should
I don't
have
like
it before
how they...
the show.
Well, I don't know why they put it after SmackDown, or maybe just put it on a Wednesday. Because you just put it on Wednesday on the network. I don't understand why it's not doing that. Because, like you said, yeah, after the show, the crowd's already watched a 2-hour show. The whole idea is, well, they can sit through a 3-hour show of Raw. Why can't they sit it through 2 hours of SmackDown and the hour of this? I get that, but you're still... I don't know. It's...
I think they could, but what they need to do is actually put 205 Live before SmackDown, because that kind of gets the crowd kind of pumped for the main show. Yeah, that's what WCW used to do.
Dark matches.
Yeah.
But you just film them, so they're not really dark matches.
But so, yeah, that's the pre-show. First match, at least this is what I'm assuming is going to go on first for the pay-per-view. Going to be the Raw Tag Team Championships. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Enzo Amore and Big Cass. Who do you got?
I think it's going to be the Club.
Really?
I think they should do that. Granted, WWE's stupid with Gallows and Andrews. Or is it Andrews?
Anderson.
Sorry, I always get that confused. But they don't know how to book them. I don't know why they can't figure out how to book those two. They've gotten better, although I think that whole Cesaro, Sheamus...
That was actually entertaining.
I like their team. I feel like they killed that too quickly. Mm-hmm. And then building these guys up, they spent too much time goofing off with New Day that it's hard to make them as credible champions. So as much as I'd like to see them win, and I think they should, I think going forward that's what WWE should do. They probably won't. I think they're going to win. I think Gallows and Anderson are going to win, but I think WWE is going to go the other way and give it to Enzo and Big Cass.
I'm going to... Well, your prediction is for Anderson and Gallows, but yeah, I'm going to agree with your counter statement and say that, yeah, the WWE, I think...
Which is stupid to make my prediction that, if I think WWE is going the other way, but...
Yeah, Enzo and Cass, I think they're going to win it.
You gotta have diversity.
They've been, working at it for over a year now.
And I think it is nice to give them their due diligence to give them the titles, but I would argue that they lose,
and then maybe pick it up
and then make
Mania.
them chase it to Mania.
Yeah.
If they're the face, I would chase it to Mania. So I'm gonna go with Anderson and Gallows.
All right.
And you're taking Cass and Ezio.
Yeah,
Enzio. I always say
Enzo.
Ezio. Assassin's Creed.
All right. Next, Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax.
Talk about a feud I could care less about.
Right.
It's not Nia Jax's fault.
No, it's not either of their fault.
No, it's not. No, and it's not
just the way it's
booked.
booked.
It's not Sasha's fault either. It's just Sasha had such a huge, big rivalry with Charlotte, and it's hard to build her into another feud after that.
Mm-hmm. Especially when they played hot potato with the women's championship.
And they're starting to do that again with Bayley and Charlotte. And
we'll get to that.
I'll bitch about that later. But the thing, and here's what I always say: unless it's maybe in the Attitude Era with The Rock and Triple H, but like after The Rock and Stone Cold, do you ever remember who Stone Cold feuds with after that? Do you ever remember who The Rock feuds with that? Most of the time, you're gonna say no, because those rivalries were so big for those two that it's hard to, build up on the rivalry like that.
Well, back in the Attitude Era, it was pretty much like, Rock Austin or Rock Triple H.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? When you have your big adversary, it's hard to build up past that. So, and that being said, I think Sasha wins this. Well, I don't know. If Sasha wins, here's how I justify it. Sasha wins, then she interferes with Bayley Charlotte, I think, at the end of the night. She could take that back. Nia Jax wins. My prediction is Nia Jax. I'm not going back on that. Right. And then my follow-up to that is Sasha gets involved with Charlotte and Bayley setting up a triple threat. I think. Maybe. But then that would just be a copy and paste of last year with Becky Lynch. I don't know. You gotta stop me, man. I'm rambling.
I'll go on. I will say I think that Sasha Banks is going to win, but I think it's going to be by disqualification. Because I don't think they're going to give Nia Jax a clean loss just yet. I don't think they have yet.
So, Sasha turns?
No, I don't say she turns. I just say that...
somebody gets involved. Who would get involved?
Well, no, nobody gets involved. Like, maybe Sasha makes a mistake and gets herself disqualified. Nia Jax. I say Sasha wins, so Nia Jax would have to get disqualified.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the part that you're saying. So
next is
you're saying Sasha wins. I'm saying Nia Jax wins.
Yep. Next we have Neville versus Jack Gallagher for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. I'm going to start off with this one. As much as I'd like to see the gentleman take the championship, I think they're not gonna take it off Neville until Mania. So I think Neville's got this.
I would agree with that. Neville's both are really hot. Both are really hitting their stride. I think it's a really good feud. I think that's probably the most interesting thing. And like you said earlier, that's the most interesting thing going on with Cruiserweights right now on 205 Live is that rivalry. So I could see them holding that until Mania. This is my point. This is the problem with Fastlane is we're not even halfway through the card and we're already saying, well, they're gonna hold this till Mania. Hold this till Mania. It's like, why have it? But
yeah, I agree.
That's just me being cynical.
Well, I mean, for Elimination Chamber,
gotta get them buy rates.
Yeah, for Elimination Chamber, they did have a few title changes, so.
And they could here too, but I don't know. I think for me, Elimination Chamber, for whatever reason, it makes more sense to have one a couple months, like in a February to me, or like a January or February, instead of having one in March. Because I mean,
this is
right away
the first pay-per-view that they've had in March in years, actually.
Really?
Because
well, it's always at the end of February usually. So,
all right. Well, next we got Roman Reigns. Well, wait, you didn't actually give me who you think was going to win.
I agreed with you. I think Neville's going to win.
Okay, next we got Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman.
Remember when I said talk about a feud I don't care about earlier? This one takes the cake on. First of all, why does Braun Strowman still have a job? A, because he's terrible.
Well, he's gotten better.
He's awful.
He's gotten better.
Don't be nice, Sean.
No, he's
awful. So you mean he's gotten better? So
that doesn't mean I like him.
So he can move now. He can walk. I'm just kidding.
He has lost a little bit of weight.
He works really stiff. Come on now.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Again, it's not Roman Reigns' fault. I think Roman Reigns is a solid worker. I think Roman Reigns
terribly.
Yes, he's just booked awfully. And then if you don't put him in the main event scene, this is the problem that he sits in. He got the John Cena treatment before he even got to the John Cena level of his career. Mm-hmm. And it's so unfair for him because, okay, you don't want him in the title scene. We'll put him in this feud with Braun Strowman, and not many people are going to be invested in it. Okay, what do we do with this guy?
See, this is what happened. All right, so
Roman Reigns wins, by the way.
Yeah, I have Roman Reigns too.
That's obvious.
But here's what happened with Roman Reigns. He was so over in the 2014 Royal Rumble. Everybody actually was cheering for him, and then WWE probably saw that, and especially Vince McMahon saw. I was like, oh, this is going to be the next guy.
That guy's grabbing that brass ring.
Yeah. So but then they start booking him in these terrible promos, which, despite what people say, his promos are not bad, or his older promos aren't bad. If you listen to his promos from NXT, they're great. But then you listen to the ones that on the main roster, he's terrible.
Well, it's the same thing that happens with a lot of the guys. Is when you feed them lines, when you give them a script, it's not as good. When you let them be themselves, when you let them, you know what I mean? Like the greatest talkers in the business always go off
if you would have scripted The Rock
or Stone Cold.
Yeah, right.
So I think it's not Roman's fault. That being said, I think they stuck him in a bad feud with Braun Strowman, and I will never understand that in 2017 we still have to fulfill Vince McMahon's weird obsession with big guys.
I know.
Like, I don't know what it is, but it's always these really... And heck, if you're going to do something with Braun Strowman, do the Big Show program. Do something... Because clearly, we'll get to that in a minute, but the whole Shaq thing, just go with Big Show or something. And what do we do with Roman? That's my question. After this... Because this is going to end at Fastlane, so what do we do with Roman Reigns? Where would you put him now?
Well, going in... I sure as hell wouldn't put him in a title picture. I mean... And here's the thing: you can't really put him in the U.S. title picture
because Jericho's going to be feuding with,
and he's
going
to be the face. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's tough. I don't know.
It really is. I mean, unless you...
We'll have to figure that out after Fastlane, see what they do. Because I don't know how they're going to end this.
Well, I mean, everybody's saying that, he's going to face The Undertaker at Mania.
That's the rumor, yeah.
I think that's a horrible idea. I'm not saying it would be a bad match.
I'm telling you, there's really not a way to turn him heel in this match. Because I think if you do that, if you turn him heel some way, maybe the Raw after, I don't know. You turn him heel, then you get him to feud with The Undertaker. You want to talk about nuclear heat? That's perfect. Do it.
It really is.
Do it.
But that's the thing.
WWE. I know you're listening.
You got to have the right, heel face dynamic in that match. And they've tried to turn Taker heel within the last few years. Back when they were trying to push Lesnar as a face, they made Taker the heel, and it just didn't work.
Yeah. So I think you gotta, if you go with the Undertaker thing, you gotta go.
Reigns is a
you
heel.
You gotta make Reigns the heel.
Yeah.
That being said, Reigns wins. Moving on.
Against Braun Strowman in this match. We're not talking about wrestling.
Yeah, of course.
Next, we got Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe. Do you want to say it at the same time? Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe.
I want to say Sami Zayn, but dude, you want to talk about a guy that's given the shaft.
Right.
Him and Ziggler, I think, always get the short end of the stick.
Well, here's what I think, Give
him a title. Give him a mid-card title.
I really think,
make him your workhorse.
I really think that this could, that Sami Zayn might end up as a U.S. champion eventually.
I can see that.
Maybe at Mania they'll have some sort of I don't know.
No, because they're gonna have the Jericho Owens thing. So.
Unless Jericho drops the title before Mania,
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, he could, because I don't. We'll save that. We'll talk about the main event, and I'll talk about possible things they could do with that. So,
but yeah, I mean, I got Joe.
Samoa Joe. I think it's great to have him win his first WWE pay-per-view,
and he's on fire right now. He really
main
is.
roster pay-per-view. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. So next we got the Raw Women's Championship: Bayley versus Charlotte Flair. It's Charlotte. She's got her pay-per-view streak.
I just wish they would just put the belt on someone and run with it. I'm sick of this hot potato nonsense.
Or, getting back to what you said earlier, maybe Sasha gets involved. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I could see that, but then again, you're going to run into the whole, it's copy and paste from last year. You just change one person. You take out Becky Lynch.
I don't because what I've heard for what they're going to do for Mania is actually a fatal 4-way, and actually have Nia Jax in there, too.
Okay, but which would make then it would work with your finish where Sasha gets herself disqualified somehow, and then Nia Jax gets involved with the title to say, hey, I didn't lose, I beat Sasha, blah blah blah, and then there's some kind of mishap that goes on. You can maybe have a fatal 4-way out of that.
Well, anyway,
that being said, I think I'm with you on Charlotte winning.
But yeah, if Charlotte won by DQ,
Bayley would still be champion.
Yeah, say Sasha Banks gets involved and she attacks Charlotte, referee catches it, calls for the bell, Charlotte wins. Bayley retains the title. That keeps Charlotte's pay-per-view streak alive, but it doesn't make the title change.
I just don't see that happening because they like to play hot potato.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, and honestly, Charlotte walking out with the belt I mean, is probably going to be likely. I mean, hell, she's gonna be. Is she
like a 4-time champion now?
Yeah,
in a matter of a year.
Yeah, she's gonna be a 16-time champion by the end of next year.
Yeah, right. She's gonna catch up to Dad before. Faster than Cena did.
Right. Alright, so we both got Charlotte, whether that be by DQ or she actually wins the belt. The last one, Kevin Owens versus Goldberg for the Universal Championship.
First of all, you quiet, peanut gallery. First off, Goldberg. You want to talk about a waste of space. It is Bill Goldberg. Goldberg was great in WCW in the 1990s. He was great in the Monday Night Wars. He can't put on a match that's longer than 2 minutes. And I'm not saying that Kevin Owens doesn't have the ability to carry him, because Kevin Owens will have to. Kevin Owens is one of the best wrestlers on the planet, and he can do it. But my problem is, why do we have Bill Goldberg going into this match with Kevin Owens simply just to put the Universal title into the Goldberg-Lesnar feud? Yeah, because that's going to make me care more about that feud. I'm going to care even less. Why do we not pushing Owens to have the WrestleMania moment where you have him taking on Jericho. You have that friendship angle that was the only good thing on Raw for how many months, son? How many months?
Right.
And then you take the belt out of it? You take 2 belts out of it, possibly, if Jericho loses. I hate it. I'm sorry, I had a rant about this because I was mad when Goldberg came back to Survivor Series and had a 1.5-minute match because he clearly can't work it, and then cuts his forehead in a promo. Who knows how he did that?
Smashing his head on the locker. I don't know if you're
I'm sorry. I had to get that over. This is why I'm pissed. He's probably gonna win. I think Owens should win, but I think Goldberg will win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Goldberg, too. And I really do appreciate your rant, because I agree with you. I like Goldberg. There's nothing wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Goldberg in the 90s, as you said.
Right? And he's fine to bring back as like a Lesnar thing or an Undertaker thing.
Well, no, not even that. Maybe like a one-off or something. I mean, Lesnar and Taker show up, every few months or so, where, Taker has shown up less and less, but anyway, but Goldberg should have been, one and done. Like, what they were planning on doing with Goldberg is actually having Lesnar winning at Survivor Series and then Goldberg right off into the sunset. But then Goldberg agreed to, have a couple more matches.
Do the Royal Rumble.
But here's
oh man, if he would have won the Royal Rumble,
yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Why does he deserve the Universal Championship?
Makes no sense.
It really doesn't. I mean, it is a cool idea, bringing back somebody and then they win a title. Like, I wasn't totally against it when they did it with The Rock, except for the fact that they ended a 434-day reign. That's the only thing I didn't like about it.
But then you got to remind yourself it is pro wrestling. So
I know, and
I have to do that sometimes. Like the Goldberg thing, I just got worked up about. I do have to remember it's dudes in spandex. So I mean,
and here's the thing: I'm not against like Lesnar taking it from Goldberg at Mania because, as you probably know, I'm a belt enthusiast. I love belts.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing Lesnar's red side plates on that red title. That'd be awesome.
First of all, the Universal title's ugly. You can't sell me on that.
It grew on me. I didn't like it at first, but it grew on me.
So you like your belts to look like jelly? Because it looked like jelly.
I like what famous YouTube personality Grimm said. He said that it looked like the Twizzler title.
And I love Twizzlers, so maybe if I look at it that way. I think Goldberg's gonna win the title.
Yeah,
as stupid as it is. Can I pitch to you what I would have done if I were running things?
Go for it.
Because you could have the Festival of Friendship thing. Because that whole thing was perfect. That played out perfectly. Do it as Jericho won some sort of match where he's the number 1 contender for the Universal title, and then have Owens beat the crap out of him on the Festival of Friendship like he was going to, just to be sure, because that title means more to him than his friendship with Jericho, right?
Oh yeah, by far.
So then Owens comes out, has his thing. My point is no Goldberg's involved. Owens comes out, he's talking like, I guess I don't have a match tonight, blah, blah, blah. Boom, lights go out. Then you do the Jericho entrance. He brings back the jacket, okay? Brings back the light-up jacket, because I missed that thing.
But Dean Ambrose destroyed it.
He gets a new one.
Okay.
I'm sure he can afford it. Then he comes out, and then they have a match. And then somehow make it so where Owens wins by, like, Jericho just loses his mind. So, matter of fact, Jericho gets I can't talk. Gets disqualified, and then you set up the match again for WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen anyway. But, we got to put Goldberg in there.
Well, you see, and this is how Vince McMahon thinks.
I don't know. Do you think that would be a good idea for an angle?
It wouldn't be bad.
That means you don't like it. Anyway, go on.
Sure as hell better than what they got now. Anyway, with Vince McMahon, his idea is like, okay, well, you got this one match, and it went okay or whatever, and you want to do it again. The best thing is to put another belt. That's how he sees it, because it happened. It happened with the Rock Cena.
So you have 2 belts, or are you talking about? No, what you're saying with the Lesnar Goldberg thing?
Yeah,
you add the belt to it to make it.
To try
more enticing.
Okay. Yeah, make it more enticing because, you have the Goldberg versus Lesnar, and Goldberg obviously went over.
Yeah.
Both times, because, you got to think Mania 20. Yeah, that was the worst match on the card. And it's because the fans knew that they were both leaving.
Yeah.
Anyway,
stupid internet.
But that's what happened with The Rock. The Rock beat CM Punk to win the championship, and then he dropped it to Cena at WrestleMania because the year before that they fought and they didn't have the title on them. So that's how they thought they could do. That's what they thought was interesting. But here's the only problem I have with Lesnar getting the Universal title at Mania. We ain't gonna see it till SummerSlam.
Yeah.
At least.
That's my problem with Goldberg winning it. Mm-hmm. Is you're not going to see the belt on TV.
Well, and I think he is scheduled every week, but he's not he's not going to be in any match.
And this is also the thing. This is why we need not necessarily Impact because they suck, but we need a brand to rise up and I love Lucha Underground. The bits that I have watched. I need to watch that more. We need a promotion to come up and start kicking WWE's ass again because back when that was happening with WCW, they were making the title matter. They were having title matches. They were changing things. They were doing things differently to compete. Now they just put it on a guy that's a part-timer that's there half the time. You don't see the belt on TV ever. And then... And I don't get the appeal of Brock Lesnar. I never did.
Neither do I.
Even when he actually was there full time, I never got the appeal. He's just a monster. That's it. So I've seen it. It's been done. I mean, the Suplex City thing was fun for however, and Paul Heyman is the best thing about Brock Lesnar.
Oh, by far.
So I mean, I don't know.
But yeah,
I just never got the appeal of that, and I don't get the appeal of this match. I really don't.
I don't either. I mean, maybe we'll see how well Owens carries Goldberg, on Sunday. But
oh God, he's gonna have his work cut out for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Now imagine that. Imagine how hard that's gonna be. And then just keep in mind that Jericho and Owens are gonna do it. So two very, very good wrestlers are actually gonna have a match later. So that's how I'm gonna have to deal with it. That's how I'm gonna cope with it.
But yeah, we both agree, sadly, that Goldberg's gonna walk away with the title. But here's the reason. Here's the reason why I think they're going with that angle, not having the Universal title on Owens into Mania. I think it's because more or less, Jericho. I don't know if you heard, he's going on. He's torn with Fozzy after Mania. So they're probably gonna have the U.S. title taken off of Jericho at Mania in his match with Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens will become the U.S. title champion.
Yeah.
They should have made that. They should have made that the Canadian championship. By the way.
Yeah, that would have been funny. And you talk about a waste. A waste of an angle. But so, for those of you not keeping count at home, you and I have Swan and Tazawa.
No, I picked the heels. Brian Kendrick.
Oh yeah, we both went with that. So Brian Kendrick, Noam.
Noam Dar.
God, what is up with these names? Noam Dar, we both have them. I have Gallows and Anderson. You have
Enzo and
Cass. And then I have Sasha. No, I have Nia Jax, and you have Sasha. We both have Neville. We both have Roman Reigns. Both have Samoa Joe. I have Charlotte. Yeah, we both have Charlotte, and then we both have Goldberg.
Sadly. Sad face, tear running down my cheek.
So moving on from that is our Fastlane predictions. So we're going to try to get this up the day of Fastlane so we can have a tally mark and winner can get bragging rights. I feel like, yes.
I have a couple replicas, we can do what Culture Wrestling does, and, whoever wins gets the belt.
Yeah, I like what they do, too, where you have to do something. Yeah, see,
maybe
you're scared. You're scared. Right now, the only way we only have a few matches that are separate, so you got a good chance.
Right. So I'm gonna let it be the spinner belt, so that way we can use the nameplate. Because the only other belt I got is the IC belt.
Okay.
The nameplate. So that way I can get what is it, Jake the?
It's Lumber Jake.
Lumber Jake on there, or Crawdaddy on there. Okay. Well, anyway,
moving on to SmackDown.
No, we got one more thing for Raw. Because this is the only exciting thing about Raw. Seth Rollins confirms he will be at WrestleMania. So, that was by far the best part of Raw, and that whole 3-hour show. and it was terrible. That show was terrible, by the way.
Here's what I feel about Seth Rollins. I think, he'll be at Mania. I think that's going to be important. And I wanted to see him in Triple H. That'll be an awesome match. I don't doubt that. But I think they definitely need to and he's kind of has it now, but they definitely need to give him time off.
Yeah,
you know what the really like eerie thing about all of this is? He is so much like Triple H.
Oh yeah.
Even in his injuries, that's freaking me out because I've been thinking about that. But with his knee injuries, he's got to take time off. They've got Owens. They've got enough talent to work around it. They got to do, like you said,
and they're gonna have NXT call up.
And Finn Balor's coming back, so that's gonna help. You got Samoa Joe, and quite honestly, seeing a main roster feud with Finn Balor and Samoa Joe excites me.
Or even Finn Balor and Kevin Owens.
Yeah. I like the fact that we're getting the NXT storylines brought over.
And don't forget this.
Main roster. So
Bobby Roode did take the NXT title off of Shinsuke Nakamura. He's got to come up.
I don't think they're going to put Shinsuke up there.
I do. I think he's going to come up after Mania.
What happened to Hideo Itami?
I don't know. He's
got that injury.
Yeah, he got injury. He went off TV. He came back. He got another injury. So I don't know. But Shinsuke Nakamura, I think he should go to SmackDown, but I think they're going to put him on Raw because it seems like all the good talent from NXT goes to Raw.
I think that NXT guys should be going to SmackDown. I agree with that because SmackDown, in my mind, is the better product and it's clearly more wrestling oriented. So
it always has been, and except
back when Heyman was running it.
Except for the years, before SmackDown went live, between the end of the brand split and...
Now it's just copy and paste matches from Raw.
Exactly.
So I'm into that. I love the fact that he's coming back and he's going to be there for Mania. I think his promo was great. Yeah. I think...
The only thing I don't like about Rollins right now is the fact that how he turned face. And a lot of people have brought this up. It's like, my mentor doesn't like me anymore, so now I'm a good guy. Really? I think that's dumb.
I don't see what's wrong with that. But then again, you got to understand, weird stuff's going on outside. You got to understand that it's wrestling.
Yeah,
they recycle things all the time. I do think they should have done. I do think that was a little half cocked, and they probably should have. Put a little bit more effort into his face turn. That being said, it was a long time coming. You knew when he came back he was going to turn anyway. So
it's exciting, and I agree with you. After Mania, they shouldn't have Rollins take a couple months.
Maybe not like SummerSlam or anything like that, but give him like a month or
make him come back Money in the Bank, even
and win again.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to SmackDown. Man. You talk about a show. That was probably by far the best SmackDown of the year.
What SmackDown does so much better than what Raw can do.
Oh yeah,
that I've seen. Is storytelling and it's development of characters. And I am talking about a wrestling show. And when I say that there's great character development,
right?
Like it's the whole. Well, we're obviously everybody knows about it by now. It's old news, but we're gonna talk about it anyway. The burning down the Wyatt compound.
6 days old.
Burning down the Wyatt compound.
Oh, that was just
brilliant. The whole thing was brilliant. The fact that you knew that it was coming, and we were talking about this when we were getting the show together. We were talking, and I go, Orton's gonna fight Bray. We know this. This is obvious.
Yeah.
But the way that they did it, I think, was brilliant, and I love what they did with it. I think the whole promo was, like I said, the whole promo was great, and the fact that, he said that Sister Abigail was, she said that she was underneath.
Yep, burned her remains, yep.
Yeah, and she was underneath the compound, and he was going to burn the place down.
And he did.
It's Orton's best work in years. It's Orton's best mic work in years, and let alone character work in years, I think.
Oh, yeah, because Orton's been so bland, no matter what you did with him between being a face and the heel, up until Bray Wyatt.
And this is what Bray Wyatt needed. I think Bray Wyatt had been just lingering around. He's a great character. He's not a horrible worker, but he's
just been kind of stale, kind of like what happened with Cena.
Yeah, and the Cena feud he had should have been better, but it sucked. Mm-hmm. I think to me it's just shocking that it took not shocking. How do I say this properly? it took the right guy to do it, and it was done properly. This is what Bray always needed. He needed a veteran that it was a name that he could, because they've been doing this stupid Wyatt family, taking these. They did the Daniel Bryan thing, and they ran that in the ground in 2 weeks. They're like, this guy's too hot right now. We can't do this.
Yeah,
that could have been compelling. That could have been great, but they couldn't do it. And a couple years later, we finally get it with Randy, what he was doing, and.
It's sad. Bray Wyatt's been on the main roster now for, almost 3 years. And the fact...
It'll be 3 years in the summer, yeah.
Yeah. And all his titles came within the last 2 months. Or no, 3 or 4 months. Because he won the tag team titles at what? Was it No Mercy or was it later than that? Was it TLC? It's TLC.
Yeah.
And then, and then
they lose it right away.
They dropped it. They dropped it in Chicago.
SmackDown, yeah.
To American Alpha, which by
far
fine. They deserve it.
It's just fine. I'm okay with that.
I was actually in that show in Chicago. Oh my god, it was amazing. But
went all the way to Chicago for a show.
Oh yeah,
you're a lot more dedicated than I am.
Well, I went with my friend Travis.
I just waited for Omaha.
Yeah, but I was thinking like, okay,
you probably made a trip. You were like actually going on a trip, and then
no,
show, right?
We just went there. That came out of nowhere because like on that Sunday before they came, I was like. My buddy wanted to go to Chicago. My buddy Travis, and
I've never been there. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, and he actually told me that about a couple weeks in advance, and I was like, I don't know, maybe. And then I found out like I can get some time off from my job, and then I decided to drive up there with him. It was a great trip. I absolutely loved it.
Excuse me.
You're cool. But anyway, so, and I've always wanted to be a part of the Chicago crowd.
Yeah,
because Chicago is like the best wrestling crowd.
Omaha crowds are bleh.
Yeah,
we're not a big wrestling state.
Yeah,
not a big territory. So in terms of the whole Orton betraying Bray, then we had the number one contenders match with Luke Harper and AJ Styles, which
was a really good match.
I'm glad. Again, this is something that you're seeing on SmackDown that you're not going to see on Raw. You're seeing AJ Styles and. Not so much AJ Styles. It's Luke Harper. You're seeing Luke Harper get mic time. You're seeing him get spotlight. You're seeing him.
He's never been on the mic until he went to SmackDown.
He was a few times, very, very few in between, but nothing like this. And and people have been saying it for years. He is the best worker in the whole. When they had the Wyatt family, he was the best one. He was the best. Maybe he didn't have the best mic skills. Obviously, that was Bray, but he definitely was the best worker.
Well, definitely way far from Eric Rowan.
Oh God,
Eric Rowan, his promos are
definitely better than Braun Strowman.
Oh yeah,
but I really don't like him. I'm sure he's a great guy. I just really don't like his character.
Did you know he actually started off as one of the Rosebuds?
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Anyway, moving on.
We'll talk about deep cuts, Adam Rose.
So anyway, that match was great, but now they're going to have another number one contenders match because we were talking about this earlier in the week, like what are they going to do, because they didn't even know what they were going to do. Got a notification from the WWE app saying that, okay, on Tuesday it's going to be Orton versus Styles, number one contenders match for the WWE Championship. Now, I honestly think this was going to be the way that they were going to do it, because the fact is that they're going to make sure this feud between Orton and Wyatt happens at WrestleMania, regardless.
Yeah.
But the reason why they're doing this, Styles is going to get pissed off, very pissed off, that he has to fight again for that shot at the WWE Championship. Yeah. And there's been a lot of tension between.
Which why would he though? That doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
I get the aspect of the storytelling, but it just doesn't make sense. Orton has already got it, so just add him to the match.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but here's the reason why I think
he's not Daniel Bryan. He can't just get added to matches.
They're setting up this feud between Shane McMahon and AJ Styles, which I don't think is going to be a terrible match, because Shane's always been a decent wrestler.
So you think that that's going to be the match at Mania?
No, I don't think it's going to be the match at Mania. But I do think it's going to be a decent match, because anything that AJ Styles puts on is a great match.
Yeah.
And
Shane's actually not a bad worker.
No, he's not at all. But, here's the thing, why? Why Styles versus Shane McMahon? Here's why. It's
because you can't bring back Daniel Bryan.
Well, and not only that, it's because, since Goldberg agreed to stay, again, bringing that back up, because, originally they were going to have Shane McMahon versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania because of what happened at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But
that would be awful.
That's just another example of a storyline they completely dropped the ball on.
I'm okay with them dropping that one, though.
Okay, yeah, me too.
But it's a solid point to bring that up because for whatever reason they think that because we live in this ADD culture where we can't pay attention to anything, but like people will still remember this stuff and try to remember what you try to piece together when you just flat out just drop it and nothing gets mentioned of it. It's like they don't have history at all. It seems like certain things, but
and it's like also that Orton Brock Lesnar blow off match after SummerSlam happened at a freaking house show. Like it was nothing. Like Orton got busted open from Lesnar. And
I will say that
you never hear any of it on TV.
I will say that was impressive because that was one of the cases where they got me, where I thought it was a work, but I couldn't tell and I wasn't sure if like he really busted him open. Like I knew that. My mindset was I knew that they were planning something like that. I thought that he accidentally cut him open. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is another thing. Why anybody in real life would ever try to fight Brock Lesnar is beyond me. The dude cut a dude's head open with his elbow.
Right.
With his elbow!
Does he have like blades?
I
don't know. But let's talk about the match nobody wanted to see. But
before we get to that real quick, back to what we were talking about in the main event. Do you think it'll be a triple threat?
Oh, no.
I think they're... But then, in that case, then they're going to go with Styles McMahon.
Yeah.
Which
I don't think it's going to be terrible. I just don't think it makes sense.
I would even go further and make it a fatal four-way. Add Luke Harper, make it a fatal four-way. Because Luke's going to get involved with that match and be like, hey... Because let's be honest, AJ fell first.
Yeah.
So, come on. But I don't know. I could see a triple threat, maybe even a fatal four-way. That being said, if it's Shane Styles, okay, I guess.
Yeah. It's
Orton Bray will be good.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, let's talk about the match that nobody wanted to see up until, at least for me, up until what happened on SmackDown. Okay, so for a few weeks now, I've been hearing rumors that it was going to be John Cena and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maurice at WrestleMania. Now, honestly, because everybody got teased that John Cena versus Taker match, nobody wanted to see this match at Mania. But their setup on SmackDown with Miz TV was just so well put together, is what I think.
I think it was. I think it was a very good segment. I think it was a very good way to sell someone like you. And oh no, I'm not. It sounds like I'm being condescending. I'm not trying to sell people like us who think, hey, I'm going to get some microphones and complain about wrestling on the internet.
Well, I don't think we're complaining that much.
I said I did say F Goldberg earlier, so I mean, and I hope this never becomes a big thing. Because if he ever sees me, if he hears that,
it's over.
I'm done.
He may be 50 years old, but he's still pretty jacked.
Yeah, man, it's scary. But anyway, I'm rambling. Point is, I think it was a good segment to get guys like us, like hardcore fans, into it and into the feud. That being said, I think it was a great segment, and I think it's going to be a good match. I think Miz and Cena can put together a good match. Nikki has actually gotten a lot better in the ring. I never really liked the Bella Twins as performers or people.
No, but she's gotten better.
Because I'll be honest with you, I've watched Total Divas. I'm addicted to that show. And let me tell you something. This is just a way to further a storyline in that show, okay? And that's why I'm not cool with it. Because it's clearly just there to be in a major storyline. Because Maurice is in that show now. And that's just a major storyline for Total Divas. Mm-hmm. That being said, it's going to be probably a good match.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be interesting because
Maurice first match
hasn't wrestled in, I don't remember when she retired, but she hasn't.
She went off as, she didn't go off as Divas champion, but shortly after she lost it, I think that was when she left. So,
and make a great episode of Total Divas that I will watch.
but Mania match?
But Mania? You don't mess with Mania.
Right. Well, like I said, just having the Taker Cena match teased, was, I really think that should have been the way to go, because this could be Taker's last Mania, and having him.
Yeah, but we say that every year, don't we?
Yeah, but it's getting more and more like it's going to happen, But God only knows what's going to happen with this, because everybody, or it really, I mean, it looked like it was going to be Roman Reigns versus the Undertaker at Mania and Cena, but
again, the whole Miz Cena thing, I think it'll be a fine match, and I don't think the segment was bad. It's just I can't avoid that in the back of my mind that it's there to further a Total Divas storyline.
Yeah,
but I do think the best thing that John Cena said, and this is the thing I think that's genius about John Cena, is the fact that he came out and said, "Hey, Rock, I'm sorry I complained about you doing movies, because I'm doing movies now." But I like that Cena's becoming a part-timer, because Cena...
He's become everything that he once hated.
Yeah, he's the Yankees. He's not the Red Sox anymore.
Yeah.
CM Punk. He said that in a promo.
I know he did.
You know, I think that him being a part-timer and him being in more... movies and things like that, awesome. First of all, the guy's got a career in comedy. He's funny as hell in any comedy that he's in. Surprisingly, not a great action star, but a great comedian. Don't know why.
Well, it's the same with except The Rock. He can do.
The Rock, you can
do action.
You watch Fast and Furious and don't tell me you don't get pumped with Hobbs on the screen.
I gotcha.
You got me back in that franchise. I keep rambling about random things, but anyway. I think it's great seeing him that way, because his mic work... Here's what I've always felt about Cena. Same thing that people... Like I said, that Roman Reigns is running to this early in his career. He hasn't even reached the level of Cena yet. But people complain he's overexposed. You see him too much. He always wins. He always wins titles, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't take away that the guy is an excellent worker. He's great on the mic. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best... He's on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Mm-hmm. And... this promo that he did with the Miz, where he said, "Honestly, if I was running the place, do you really think I would have a match with you?" Like, I love that bit. I love that. I thought that was funny, because that's what everybody was thinking. But again, the Miz has done so much in the past year to win me over. I never liked the Miz. I never ever liked him,
especially the last year.
Ever since he got into SmackDown, he's been
that segment on Talking Smack where he was screaming at Daniel Bryan. Like, that's what got me hooked on the Miz.
So that being said, again, take out Total Divas, totally into the storyline.
And this will be the Cena's and the Miz's second WrestleMania match. Hopefully,
oh god,
hopefully the Rock won't get involved again.
Who knows? He's been in every other Mania in the last few years. Who knows?
Yeah.
Real quick before we move on to other news, I want to get your opinion on the Women's Championship, Women's SmackDown. SmackDown, gosh, can you talk for me?
SmackDown Women's Championship?
Yes, thank you.
It's so sad.
The fact that Natalya is moving in on it, I like. But is Becky Lynch, is it Mickie James going to be involved? Are they going to keep the Becky Lynch, Mickie James feud through Mania? And you think it's going to be Alexa Bliss versus Natalya?
How about this? A fatal four-way.
Sorry, Naomi, too. It really sucks that happened.
And I know this is going to kind of be weird because, the Raw is probably going to have the fatal four-way, too. But, have a fatal four-way for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Hear me out. So, have Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalya in there. But here's what you do. Say Alexa gets knocked out of the ring. She's out for the count. Mickie James picks up the win, and she becomes SmackDown Women's Champion. And hear me out, and then maybe that can set up a feud between Alexa Bliss and Mickie James, because we all know that friendships are always short-lived in WWE.
Yeah, I think it was interesting to bring Mickie James back as a heel instead of a face.
Oh yeah, by far.
Here's what I think you should do. This will never happen in a million years, but this is how it happened if Jake Williams was booking. How I would book it. It's ambitious because you've never seen this with women in a Mania. You'd have a triple threat between Mickie James, Becky Lynch, Natalya. And then they're doing double duty, so the winner of that match takes on Alexa later in the night.
I like that.
Should happen, won't happen.
Yeah. Because
I'm getting more and more impressed with the women's wrestling. There's so much talent in that division now. That's what surprised me so much about SmackDown is when they did the draft, they got so many women's wrestlers there, and you could argue that women are they're kind of like cruiserweights, and their division is, well, not so much cruiserweight. That's a bad metaphor. They're all the stuff that goes on with the women's championship is a very big part of that show.
Mm-hmm.
It's all like they make the women's championship almost as important as the WWE championship, and I like that. It's something Raw should be doing, but Raw wants to just throw the title back and forth, and I don't think SmackDown was going to do that. Unfortunately, Naomi got injured, so they had to do that. I don't think they were going to do that in the first place. I thought they were going to. I mean, look at the Becky Lynch Alexa Bliss feud that's been going on forever.
Yeah.
And now you throw in all these other things. So I think what would be cool to have is a triple threat, and then triple threat number one contenders, and then later in the night, Alexa Bliss does it.
You maybe do like the pre-show for the triple threat, and then like later in the night. Actually.
Start it with that, and then later in the night they do that. But that probably won't happen. I think
it's going to be a 5-hour show. I mean, 1 hour with the pre-show, 4 hours with the main show.
Stop making these shows so long. I was at last year's WrestleMania. It was like 6 freaking hours, man. I love wrestling just as much as the next fan.
Does that count getting to your seat?
I think, matter of fact, I think I spent a shift there. I think I spent a whole 8 hours in AT&T Stadium. First of all, the security wasn't bad. It's just it was just.
Well, another.
I had to pee, and it was one of those I had to pee so bad I could hardly walk kind of pees. I thought about peeing in line. I didn't. Keep in mind, I did have a few adult beverages in the parking lot. So I was tailgated. This is Mania. And then, that Mania sucked. Last year's Mania was bad.
Yeah.
What a waste of my going to WrestleMania bucket list.
Right. No, when I go to WrestleMania, I want it to be a really good one. I want to see
this year's WrestleMania looks good.
Well, yeah, it's too late, though.
I can't go to Orlando.
Yeah, right. But I'm thinking about, for next year having, saving up some money. And then maybe make my way down to WrestleMania.
Yeah, hopefully when they come back to Houston, because they're probably going to come back to Houston at some time. They'll probably come back to Dallas again or something like that.
Well, they're going to New Orleans for 34th, so I mean,
I'm just saying you could actually drive to Houston or Dallas.
You could also drive to New Orleans.
Yeah, but I guess it's probably it's a 10-hour drive to Dallas. No, this is not important. This is not important. So yeah. I think it'll be interesting. I do think Natalya and Alexa Bliss will probably happen at Mania, and I think Mickie James, Becky Lynch is going to continue into Mania. It needs to be over, but I could see them.
Natalya is the big show of the women's wrestling. she goes between face and heel so much.
I feel like she's been mostly a face her career, but that's your opinion.
Yeah,
I like Natalya. Follow her on Instagram.
Well, speaking of...
There's a lot of great fun cat pictures and stuff.
Speaking of, built blondes who've had a pretty good championship career, Beth Phoenix is going into the Hall of Fame.
Also, Natalya doesn't induct her. That's stupid.
Oh, I think she should by far. Beth Phoenix,
I think it's going to happen.
Amazing.
Beth Phoenix, I did think awesome. I think she 100% deserves it. I think it's with Kurt Angle. I think they both very much deserve it.
But who deserves it more in the women's wrestling?
Chyna, I think.
Chyna.
There is no Beth Phoenix without Chyna.
Yeah.
That's obvious. Everybody's going to bring that comparison up. That being said, it's hard to put her in... WWE's in a hard position because they're all PG now and they're all family and... She did porn. That's the problem. Let's not beat around the bush. She was in porn, and then she unfortunately passed away last year. So now they're in a really tough spot because it's like, despite all that, should we still put her in? But then we don't want it to seem like we're just putting in a pity position. And
well,
I don't know. What do you think?
Here's the thing though about that. Because they haven't finished announcing all the people who are going to the Hall of Fame. So far, you got Kurt Angle, you got the Rock and Roll Express, you got Teddy Long, and you got Beth Phoenix.
Teddy Long.
I think he deserves it.
He does, but he was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Player.
But here's the thing. They're all still alive.
Black stereotype.
They're all still alive. Every year they always do one person who passed away.
Yeah.
For the Hall of Fame.
A couple years ago was Macho Man, and then who was last year?
I can't think of who last year was. Is that bad? I know Paul Bear went in 1 year.
Anyway, so you're still thinking that they could possibly still put Chyna
by far. There's no rule saying that you can't have 2 women wrestlers.
They make their it's WWE. They make their own rules.
But normally, they do have at least one person who goes in there.
Do you think she should be there?
China?
Yeah,
by far. I mean, I'm doing porn. Yeah, but here's the thing: Sunny did porn. She's in the Hall of Fame. Granted,
it was after she was in the Hall of Fame.
It was after, but there's a thing though. I mean, you can, Sunny's page is still on the Hall of Fame. Page.
Yeah, they never took her off the website or anything like that.
So it's not like you can
do porn, just don't be racist. Because they got rid of Hulk Hogan, so just
or murder somebody because they got rid of Skip Black.
Yeah. Those are good reasons to get rid of someone.
Oh yeah, but they were thinking about bringing Hogan back.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'll get into that. That's another episode. But so yeah, I agree with you. I think China should be in the Hall of Fame. It's the same thing where I like to compare it to pro football, where everybody has a debate that should Terrell Owens be in the Hall of Fame because the people that vote for the Hall of Fame won't vote him in because of his off the field issues with teams and all these things. And the argument there is the Hall of Fame should matter what happened, unless of course they murder somebody or they do something awful like rape or murder someone. Clearly they shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. But like what they do, it should only matter what they do inside the lines, inside the white lines is what should matter. And I feel like that should apply to WWE. It should only matter her contributions to the business, to what she did in the ring. Like I said, there's no Glamazon without the 8th wonder of the world. There's no, not even that.
Ninth wonder of the world.
Ninth wonder, yeah.
8th wonder was Andre.
There's no 9th wonder of the world. And then you don't, I mean, look what she did for DX. Look what she did for Triple H's career. And again, quite frankly, if she was alive, if I were China and I were alive, I wouldn't even accept it because WWE treated her like garbage.
Oh, by far they did.
So, that being said, I think she's very deserving, but who knows? I think they'll probably do it just because out of respect of her passing. Okay,
well, going on to the next thing, I'll keep a Hall of Fame. I don't have this on the list. Who's going to go on the celebrity wing this year?
We better pay attention because they could be president. So I don't know.
Man.
First of all, I hate the whole celebrity Hall of Fame crap.
Yeah.
I get it. It's sports entertainment. It's not a real sport. Blah blah blah. Whatever argument you bring to the table. After Arnold Schwarzenegger, I don't see why you should add anybody else.
Yeah, Arnold. The Arnold.
I have no idea. I couldn't even give you a name. I really couldn't. Has Hugh Jackman been in there yet?
No.
Put him in there. He just finished up Wolverine. Put him in there.
You know who else could sadly
Seth Green, maybe?
No, you know who else could sadly go in there?
Who?
Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, please God, no.
I know, but I think he's going to go in eventually. They're going to run out of celebrities, and he had a mania.
I'm telling you, Hugh Jackman, he's there.
Okay, well, moving on out of the Hall of Fame picture into another WrestleMania picture that might be called off. Big Show versus Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh my gosh, no! Sean! The best match of the whole card! Until I really care.
Well, I don't think it would be a bad match. I think it would draw people. I mean, you can't deny it. Shaq.
I don't know about that. I don't think it's going to pull in people. I think people are just going to be there because it's Mania. I saw what Shaq did live and in person in that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and I can tell you I was underwhelmed.
When he first came out, though, what did you think?
I don't care about it. It was a cool surprise, like a weird... It wasn't cool, it was more like, what the hell? Why is he here? And I'll never forget that because...
he could be going into the Hall of Fame.
My buddy Luke was watching it, and my girlfriend was watching it because she knew I was there. And she's like, Shaq? Question mark? What is going on? Other than that, I don't think he could put on a good match. I think he was a great athlete, amazing basketball player. That doesn't mean he's a great wrestler. No. I think Big Show would be wasted in that situation. Throw him a straw man.
Yeah, I can see that. I honestly think that's probably what's going to happen if Strowman...
Shaq claims it's on. It's not him, though. It claims it's not him. So, I don't know what the situation may be. Maybe WWE decided themselves to go a different direction.
Mm-hmm. But you got to look at the Big Show.
Either way, I'm cool with it.
Like
dude's got a 6-pack.
Yes, it's amazing. He's freaking jacked. Put him versus Goldberg at WrestleMania.
You put Goldberg in any match, I'm just going, that's what I think of that. Even Brock Lesnar can't say, I'm done with Goldberg. He was great in the 90s. Yeah, I had a Goldberg t-shirt. Yeah, I played into that when I was a kid. I'm a man. Still complain about wrestling, but...
Oh, yeah. Well, let's get on to our top story of this podcast. And this one...
We're not going to talk about Finn Balor?
Yeah, we did a little bit. He's coming back in March for some house shows. He's going to be in a match versus Triple H, which that'll be a cool match.
You're right. We need to get to the top story. We're
which, by
already
the way,
an hour over.
It will. I don't care. We will never.
Just saying, we're running along in the 2K.
Unless it's this big, I don't think we're ever going to feature TNA in the top story ever again. Excuse me, Impact Wrestling.
We have Impact Wrestling on the agenda. You might as well just talk by yourself because I know diddless squat.
Oh, neither do I. Really, other than outside the wrestlers and what I've heard from other wrestling sources online, I don't watch Impact Wrestling.
Let's not beat around the bush though.
Except for the fact that I do think it's cool that Alberto El Patron is now the Impact Wrestling, I guess that's what they're going to call it, champion. Did you hear that?
Does that mean Paige is going to go to Impact now?
Oh, she was backstage, but yeah, I
miss Paige. She needs to come back.
But anyway, getting to the top story of it, the Broken Hardys left TNA.
Arguably the best thing about Impact Wrestling.
The only thing about Impact Wrestling.
Let's be honest.
This is what.
By the way, this last summer, I'll give Matt Hardy credit. This late in his career, being a veteran in this business, I am so amazed that he was able to take over my Twitter feed for a night. When they had that match, wasn't the final deletion. It was the match before the final deletion.
Okay.
And I watched it, and it was bad. It was bad. Like with the drone, and then they had the director's cut. Made it even worse. But that's late. That's that. Because I
think that was the final deletion.
That was the final deletion. Yeah. So I remember seeing it on my Twitter feed, and I was like, Matt Hardy, he's relevant again? What's going on? So I click on it, and I watched this video, and I'll never forget because I was in Portland that weekend. And again, this is what I love about wrestling, is it always has my girlfriend's reaction of, what? This is stupid. But then she continues to watch. Because I myself was like, this is garbage. But I can't not watch it. Yeah. It was the one where he comes into the training thing, and then there's clearly a fake baby that he throws at him.
Brother Nero, I knew you'd come.
Yeah, and then they throw clearly a fake baby that they try to make us believe is real. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what's wrong with you? And then he hits him, and it's just so bad. It is so bad. And who knew that he would be one of the biggest things in wrestling for a long time? Right.
This is what kept TNA relevant. And honestly, what kept them through what happened last year when TNA almost folded with Billy Corgan and Dixie Carter, that's what got them through by far, if you ask me.
Yeah, the Broken Hardys storyline. Well, didn't Jeff become like a zombie? Because he deleted him. Yeah. So he's like this
Oh, he wears the contacts now.
So he's like a zombie kind of thing.
It's super cool. I want to get contacts like that make it look like it. I just have white eyes.
Yeah, because that'll really add to an audio podcast.
Hey, we can take pictures. Anyway, okay, so this is what Broken Matt Hardy said. I wish at Impact Wrestling all the best going forward, especially the industrious talent. I hope they're all treated with I probably said that wrong. Talent. I hope they're treated with respect and fairness. And he also had one before that. He said, my stint with Impact Wrestling was delightful, exceptional talent, and locker room, a great respectful team that worked hard in tough times.
So the most important question, taking over the news cycle for wrestling, is: do they go to WWE?
Well, here's the thing.
Do they retire? Do they go to WWE? What do they do?
I think they have another run in WWE. I think it's happening, especially with Jeff. I know Jeff is set to go to WWE. But here's the thing.
Was there any truth to that rumor that they were talking to him and he was talking to them about coming back?
Yeah. Because he wants to come back. He wants to face Undertaker at WrestleMania in a Hell in a Cell match. So I don't think that's going to happen, especially if this really could be Taker's last Mania.
Again, we say that every year. So I don't know about that.
Anyway, so, but here's the thing. If they go to WWE, does the Broken Brilliance continue?
Here's the thing. I'm a little over this. I'm kind of over Broken Matt Hardy. A little. Because he did the interview with Jericho, like, in August, in character. Thought it was funny. Thought it was weird. But I'm afraid that this isn't a character. I'm afraid that Matt Hardy really is this insane. Sometimes. Does he still have the drone that he, like, named, and it's like his
Vanguard one?
Yes. Which is a funny play on V1. Matt Hardy version 1, V1, all that crap. Does he still have it?
And does he still have Senior Benjamin?
Does he still talk to it? Senior Benjamin, okay, I'm not going to argue that Broken Matt Hardy was funny and stupid and over the top. Here's the thing.
But that's what you need in this business.
But it looked like a storyline that I created when I was a backyard wrestler. Confessions of a Backyard Wrestler. That's going to be my autobiography. It's going to be huge. Huge. It just sounds like a storyline that I would make up with my friends and when we had EWE, Extreme Wrestling Entertainment, trademark. Not really. It just seems like that. And that's and again, that's what makes it fun, because it's weird, it's over the top, it's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely one of those situations where you're trying to get your friends in to watch wrestling, and then they see that, and then they look at you like funny, and you're like, I don't know. I have nothing to explain here.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if they
do you think it would work in WWE?
Oh, by far. Because especially if you put Hardy on SmackDown, have him instantly feud with Bray Wyatt.
That's the question. Do you think Matt Hardy ripped off Bray, or Bray ripped off Matt Hardy? Because there's an argument that they ripped each other off or something.
I kind of think so. Well, here's the thing. Matt Hardy, he's not really. He's not a cult leader where Bray Wyatt is.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt, he's that creepy dude who's, I don't know how you describe it, but he's just one creepy dude who gets everybody to follow him. Where Matt Hardy, he started off as a heel, and that didn't last long, but his whole gimmick is,
I think it'd be hard to sell to people, because people already pointed out that, when he was in TNA, that they were ripping each other off or whatever. WWE was ripping off Broken Matt Hardy's thing, and then he would comment on it, and Vince McMahon, or how do you say it? McMahon.
Yeah.
Andrew McMahon. You weren't there for that joke. It was an inside joke that you're not into now, but it was a joke that someone mispronounced Andrew McMahon, where we work. Anyway, point is, hey, don't eat all the guac. We're at my house. I gotta keep up on the guac. It's important. It's expensive. The thing with Matt Hardy is, I think it could work in WWE. I agree with you. The Broken Matt Hardy thing, it could be too much of a good thing after a while, don't you think? I mean, you're not going to get tired of this ever? You can't say that. I'm sorry. Do you think it's going to change course? Do you think he's just going to finish his career as Broken Matt Hardy?
No, but, I don't know. I mean, if you bring that character to WWE, which, by the way, I don't think WWE has ever brought in a character from TNA.
Yeah, they never mentioned TNA, ever.
Yeah.
When you talk about AJ Styles, one of the guys that carried that company for years, they never bring it up, and they always talk about his Japan stuff.
Well, no,
because they like New Japan.
They bring him up on the network with TNA because they brought it up in the Stone Cold podcast. Daniel Bryan doesn't give any.
Yeah, doesn't care about that at all.
He doesn't give any about mentioning TNA. And
I love Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
I've always loved him as a wrestler, like everybody else on the planet. But him being a GM, he just does not care. Like, he'll say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I love him doing that. But
because here's his theory. We'll go back to Matt Hardy in a second. I just want to...
Yeah, I don't want to veer too far off that.
But here's the thing with Daniel Bryan. If he gets fired from WWE, cool. He gets to go to the Indies and wrestle. That's the way he sees it. That's why he doesn't give any f***s about what he says.
Yeah. I think... that'd be interesting because they've never brought in a character, like you said, they never brought a character over. I think that's the only way it would. Matt Hardy doesn't need to bring Broken Matt Hardy over to WWE because he made his career there. Everybody know he's a name. Every wrestling fan knows who Matt Hardy is.
But he
doesn't need to be Broken Matt Hardy.
I think he should be, just for a while.
Well, that made him relevant again, and I think that he's the only way for him to stay relevant in this climate with all these new stars coming up and all these names coming in.
It's just like with Jericho, you have to reinvent your character.
Yeah. It could work. I could see him doing it. And then I just don't know how long it's going to last.
Yeah. Well, if he gets stale, he can reinvent again. See, this is what made him outshine Jeff Hardy. Because Jeff Hardy was always the person who
everybody thought he was the better one.
Yeah, he was the better one until the Broken Brilliance happened.
If you bring him back to feud if you bring him into feud with Bray Wyatt's going to need to get another partner, because you could have the Broken Hardys against the new Wyatt family. But I'm just sick of seeing Wyatt family reiterations of the Wyatt family. They leave, they come back. They leave, they come back. I don't want to see that anymore.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, just having them being brought to WWE, I think is great. I know Jeff is really considering about going to WWE. They were good to him, He was a 3-time champion in WWE. He beat Triple H for his first WWE title. Like, that's awesome. Yeah. And then
that spinner belt.
But anyway, so what they're trying to do, or Jeff Hardy definitely wants to go to WWE, but here's the thing: I know he also wants to stay with his brother because they've got a good thing going right now. So WWE has to try to, entice Broken Matt Hardy to come to WWE. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of hard to get Jeff.
Yeah, I'm sure they throw the right dollar amount. He'll do anything. So.
Right, but his big thing is some sort of creative control because he wants that character to keep going, and that's why he doesn't. That's why he was hesitant in the past for working with, as he would say, Mika Man. But I don't know. I could definitely see that going.
I could too.
Especially if he goes to SmackDown. I feel like they give more free reins on SmackDown, to say what you want. Especially with Talking Smack. Imagine seeing Broken Matt Hardy on Talking Smack.
Oh God. Ugh. I don't know, man. It's kind of. I don't know. It could still work, but again, I don't know if it's like. I don't know if it's going to be like TNA where it's a main event feud, or it's feuding for the WWE Championship or maybe the Universal title. I don't see it being that big in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I do think if they do bring him, they've got to give him some creative control. I just say never with these things because I wouldn't put it past CM Punk coming back because that's just the way WWE is. Nobody thought they'd patch up things with Ultimate Warrior. So I would never say never to Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
And this whole ordeal.
Especially because,
especially with Triple H, because he seems to know how to mend fences.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. I mean, like, Matt Hardy has been teasing on Twitter since they've left, and it's only been like 3 or 4 days since they've left, that, are we going to go here? Like, he replied to a tweet from Bray Wyatt from back in December saying, I do indeed know where you're at, or something like that. I'll have to pull it up. But, and then he's also teasing about going to Japan because, he's gonna work, I believe, in the beginning of April with the Young Bucks on Ring of Honor. So that's gonna be a hell of a match, by the way.
That'd be cool. I'll be into
that. He's replied to Sasha Banks, who I guess WWE said on their Twitter, this Sunday the boss at Sasha Banks WWE will have to go one-on-one with the woman who claims to have broken her, Nia Jax. #Fastlane, #Raw. And then Sasha Banks said, "You're not Matt Hardy, and I will never be broken." Yeah. And then Matt Hardy tweeted a little GIF of him laughing. That I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see. Here's another one. This one's more recent. Somebody Taz. I'm gonna. One of the guys from DIY. I can't say his name. I'm sorry, but he tweeted Hardy Boys versus DIY. And Matt Hardy says, if you have tag team gold to procure at Vanguard 1 will certainly bring us to you.
Vanguard 1 has a Twitter.
Yes, he does.
I'm so done with this. I'm done. A drone has a Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Here's the one from Bray Wyatt. So, back in December, when Matt Hardy was trying to invite people to his Total Nonstop Deletion Apocalyptico, he tweeted out, "I formally invite Mika Mahan's SmackDown Live champions, the family of Wyatts, to Total Nonstop Deletion," and Bray Wyatt tweeted right after that, "Matt Hardy, you know where to find us." And then nothing was said until he left TNA, where Matt Hardy said, "I certainly do, champion of McMahon's Blue Show."
Blue Show.
Yeah.
That's funny.
"At least I can trust my brother Nero." Shot on Randy Orton.
Yeah. I like that he's teasing it, teasing a possible... So that means, at the very least, I think... I wouldn't look too much into it. I think he might be trolling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, he's going to troll until he finds a brand to sign, because when you leave TNA, the sky's, or when you leave either TNA or WWE, the sky's the limit on where you can go.
If you were depends though. I wouldn't say that. If you were a world champion in either promotion, I would agree. Yeah, you're right. When you're a big star in either promotion, you can go anywhere you want, and you can ask for whatever you want.
Yeah,
you can go to Ring of Honor. You can go to New Japan. You can go to what's the other big one?
WWE.
No, I mean if you leave them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, hell, you could even go to What Culture. They always get people.
Well, he's been to WCPW.
Yeah, he's been there.
I believe he bit Jack the Jobber's ear. I personally like Jack. I think he's hilarious. He's underrated.
I need to actually watch their shows. I don't think I've ever watched WCPW all the way through. I need to. I want to. Just never have. Because I always get big.
Well, they always get busy life. You have 3 other podcasts.
Yeah.
You have a radio gig locally here in town.
I got a lot going on.
So but anyway.
But I make time.
But anyway, Matt, he's been to every promotion now except for currently. I don't think he's been to New Japan yet. While he's been partnering. At Impact Wrestling.
I don't think so.
And then he hasn't been to WWE yet since he's been a part of Impact Wrestling. But now this is WCPW like the big promotion in England right now? Well, they're the ones I think that have kind of
like indie promotion. I guess.
Yeah, they're the ones that have gotten the big. I mean, they've had UK promotions before. Once WWE gets in there, it's all over.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. Well, I wouldn't say it's all over, but
anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
You're fine. But yeah, I think right now WCPW is probably the top dog in the UK scene.
I don't think I agree with you. I don't think I've seen him with New Japan.
Yeah, so
that's the one I haven't seen him with. And did he do stuff with Ring of Honor?
Yes, and he's gonna be again facing the. I keep wanting to call them the Bucks of Youth because that's what Matt Hardy calls them.
But it's the Young Bucks.
Bucks.
And that's going to be the match then.
And then they're going to face each other at Ring of Honor.
Well, whatever the case may be, I wish the best of luck to the Broken Hardys and what they do. I would love to see them in WWE because I'm going to be honest, I don't watch Impact Wrestling. I occasionally watch Lucha Underground. And
they haven't been there either.
Once I start watching more of Lucha Underground, we'll try to segment them into the show. We can talk more about them. But
they're going to be on Netflix the first couple seasons.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then you go, because I don't have El Rey Network. I've been trying to find a way to watch it. Now I can't. So this has been... We're not talking about TNA. I've already decided. We're not talking about it.
Well, I mean, if
we're running long in the...
if you care... The Broken Hardys weren't the only ones to leave. I'm just going to quickly say.
Well, I mean, we could just name
Maria Kanellis, the one who
former WWE diva.
Yeah, Maria. She left. Drew Galloway, he left. And more is coming with Jeff Jarrett coming back to that regime. He put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Why are they dropping TNA from their name?
because it's just an overplayed out acronym, I think.
Yeah, and plus, anytime you mention that in a conversation, people think you're saying tits and ass, so that's probably better to have that going. This has been the first ever episode of... You can go ahead.
Get slammed!
There you go. That's what you get.
Get slammed.
We're going to try to come at you every single week, every Sunday. We record on Saturdays. Usually we'll try to post on Sundays. We'll try. This thing can change. It's a moving target.
Oh, yeah. And maybe if we have any big news, we'll try to get it done throughout the week. You never know.
Yeah. Mania would probably have to be like the day after. We'll worry about that when it comes to it. We got like a month before that has to happen. So anyway, this has been Lumber Jake Williams. And this has been Sean Crawdaddy Crawford giving you Get Slammed. You have a cool sign off you want to give?
Yeah, get slammed and come back next week. 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 And come back next